Namaste. Hi, I'm Marcus. Just going to talk a little bit today about Ascension guidance is what I call it, and the way it is. For those of you that are interested in and aware of the fact that things are changing, that you're changing, that our souls and the evolution of our souls is changing, and that our beings is changing, our DNA is changing. For you people that are aware of this, the time has now come for you to stand up and be counted. That means you have to start doing something. It's not just reading about it like science fiction. We need to do something now. Stand up, become aware, tell people that what you think's best for them, help people, help the world. Every day we can send light into the world. People that call themselves light workers, like myself, we have to do something about it. We can't just sit here thinking, oh, well, I'm doing something for me and I'm growing and I'm getting better, and we have to do something for everybody, and even more importantly, for the planet. I'm not going to go into this in great detail, but if you want more information on this, have a look at my website, www.wayitis, W-A-Y-I-T-I-S. I'll give you some idea of where I'm coming from. I'm just a normal person like you, so I'm not going to give you any highfalutin, difficult words or difficult ways of looking at things, because the best way is simple. Everything is simple. Everything that's given to us, if it's not simple, I'm just not interested. I'm not an intellectual, so I don't need to read loads of stuff on how things are made and how things have come about. I need to understand it here in my heart. And for me, that's the best way for everybody. Feel it here in your heart. That's what you need to do. You need to feel things happening. Not intellectualize about things happening. That's a different space up here. Here. Open your heart. Open your heart. When you open your heart, you raise your vibration. You raise your vibration. I mean, in the 60s when I came from, people used to talk about getting high. What were they talking about? Raising their vibration. Becoming aware of other things. All of us have the ability to do this. Doesn't matter where you're from, what your spiritual background is or isn't. And there's another thing. You hear people now talking about, I'm spiritual, and this is a spiritual thing to do. Life, being alive, breathing, walking, talking, interacting with people, interacting with plants and animals and trees and crystals. That's being spiritual. Some people go round the block so much looking at what they think spiritual. Totally wrong. We're put here as spiritual beings, all of us. We're here because we are creators. We can do things that other beings can't do. We just haven't learned quite yet how to understand and operate these creations that we can create. We haven't quite understood, we haven't quite got to that cusp, if you like. And that's what Ascension is. Ascension means rising up. And we're doing that. We're not rising up physically, although eventually we will change our DNA through Ascension. But what we're doing now is we're raising our consciousness. We're becoming more in tune with our higher self. The part of us that is very connected to what I would call God, the infinite being, the source of all things. We're raising that level of our inner self and higher self so that we can come more in communication with those higher realms. And some of us, I've only just started doing this, some of us now are starting to raise our vibration to such a level that we can communicate with some other beings that we read about in the Bible. It's funny, isn't it? People read stories in the Bible about angels and don't think twice that it didn't happen. You tell people today that, oh, I was communicating with angels and archangels, and they think you're mad. It's not abnormal, it's normal. Angels, archangels, star beings, they're all here now to help us through this difficult phase of our existence, through this time of mankind moving on to the greater good, the greater, I don't know what the words are, I'm not very good with words usually, but anyway, this is what it's about, okay? So we're rising up, we're becoming who we were meant to be when we were originally created. It's taken a long time. It's not thousands of years, it's millions of years. And this is not the only planet I believe we existed on. We probably existed other places. And we've got to that point now where we can finally become that being who puts spiritual things first and material things second. That being that can think of every action they do and be aware of what it causes to happen in the world, in the consciousness of the world, in the planet itself. Be conscious of how everything we do affects everything else on this world. Everybody else on the planet is affected by what we do. And we're becoming aware of that now. This also is part of Ascension. So they're only words, but we have to use words to communicate these things. I have guides and angels that guide me in my work, tell me what I should be saying to people. It's not like they write it in front of me and tell me. They just use my mouth to put it out there. Or wake me up in the middle of the night and tell me what I should be putting out there. And, you know, I do what I'm thinking is the right thing to do. People might look at this and think, oh, what a wacko. Fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. Everyone's entitled to do what they wish for the best good. But please, whatever you decide to do, try and think of other people, other beings, other creatures before you do it. Try not to just be so selfish as most people have been most of their lives. Try and think of the greater good. And you're on the path for Ascension. Namaste. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about Ascension, Ascension guidance I call it, and the way it is. Well, the way it is just the way it is, so there's not much to say about that at the moment. Except that's what I've called my website, www.thewayItis. No. Ascension guidance, take 2. Hi, I'm Marco. Namaste. Ascension, the way it is. Take 2. Namaste. Hi, I'm Marcus. I'm going to talk a little bit today about Ascension, Ascension guidance, and the way it is. The way it is just the way it is. So there's not much we can do about that. And some of you might have heard of Ascension, not aware of what Ascension is. You may have read stuff about Ascension. Some of the stuff's quite heavy, and you might think, oh, I'm not sure this is for me. Well, actually it's for everybody. Ascension is not just for spiritual people, for everybody. Everybody's got a chance of Ascension.